Hello and welcome to the I Love You Bet podcast. I'm Heather and this is my sister,
Rian. Each week we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us,
sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back at our past to say, I love you, but...
So, my sister, it's been a minute. How have you been wasting time?
Girl, I spent a lot of time in a car.
Yeah.
Over the holidays, which was good, actually. I like driving after the holidays, or after a semester. I think it gives me time to kind of decompress and think through things. Yeah, I've been wasting time with family.
Bunch of jerks.
Oh my God, the worst. Last night I finally got, and I know this is so like me and my privilege, given my familial situation, but it's like, oh God, last night I finally got a night away from my child. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And watched a few episodes of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I hadn't done in over a month. So I hadn't had any me time. So
they still making that show?
Oh, they are. I'm still catching up. Like I'm on, I don't know what season, but they're like still in COVID times on the season that I'm watching. So it's like kind of like nostalgic. Oh, remember when we had to wear masks? Yeah.
Hospitalizations are up 20%. Arguably, we're still in COVID times.
Yeah, I know. True. I don't know what you mean. I feel fine. Sorry, y'all. It's a morning. We're doing morning podcasting now. And this is what I sound like in the mornings. It takes a while. I thought it put there since we got back in it. It's whatever. So I'm probably sick.
All right.
Cut all of this out.
Don't worry.
How have you been wasting time, Heather Davis?
That's a great question. I also spent a lot of time with family and a lot of time in cars. And we were very lucky to visit. Well, I don't know that we were lucky. Anyway, we went to Springfield, Missouri. And I have a follow-up from, how we went to that aquarium?
Yes.
I saw a brief news headline yesterday that said a man from Alabama went to that same aquarium and went into the water. Like it was a pool.
Which part?
I did not. It was like Alabama man, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, Lord.
Oh.
Let it go.
So I guess stunk. I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, no, because the only water you could really get in was the stingray tank.
Stingray. Yeah.
Like,
poor stingrays.
I know. Yeah.
Well, so it's funny you should mention the aquarium because yesterday, at some point, Elliot was like, I want to go to our aquarium. I was like, Lexington doesn't have an aquarium. Yes, it does. Like, buddy, not every city has an aquarium. But then, by chance of fate, we ended up going to lunch at Cheddar's, and they have a giant fish tank there. So I was like, look, Betty, the aquarium. Anyways, will be.
Yeah. So that was Elliot's New Year's Eve and then afternoon. And then we took him to Chuck E. Cheese, which my buddy Jeff runs. And he had the time of his life. And I keep telling people he was comped. And then I realized, well, he's 4.5, so he's comped everywhere. Like, he doesn't understand.
He pays for nothing.
Right.
He pays for nothing. I mean, but the part about, like, here's what you could get with the tickets you won. And it was like, like, since he gets out of the treasure box at school on Fridays versus... Here's this bag full of 3,000 ticket points. Yeah, it was the best New Year's. Plus, not having to wait on any of the games because it wasn't very crowded.
Yeah. Pro tip, y'all. You got young kids? Got to Chuck E. Cheese New Year's Eve, baby.
Time to go.
You won't want to kill yourself.
Time to go. My students could believe that he had never been to Chuck E. Cheese before.
They don't understand about boundaries and self-preservation.
I'm like, money? Like, that place is expensive.
Well, it was interesting, Jeff telling us that basically their biggest business is tax return season. Economists prove that when you don't have any money, you make bad money choices. And when you have money, you make better money choices.
There we go. That's it.
Same people, same choices.
There we go.
I finally started watching season 2 of The Bear, and I don't know what I was waiting for because it's so good. I just love it so much.
So I didn't watch season 1, but I started watching season 2, and I don't know. I'm not as.
You might want to watch.
Because I worked in restaurants, so it's like, oh.
Yeah. So season 1 will hook you a little more into the characters, I think. Because season 2, they keep having these little one-off episodes that are real sweet, but if you don't know the characters, they might not be as compelling. They feel a little more, well, the whole thing feels documentary style, but season 2 is a more relaxed documentary style. Season 1 might give you panic attacks, so maybe you should just not watch it and let the rest of us enjoy it.
I think that's where I'm at, because there's so many things, and it's like literally one night a week, because I'm not going to stay up late to watch what I want to watch during the week. So
yeah,
so many things to watch.
And then his underwear campaign launched. I have a feeling by your face you watched that.
Watch that. I saw one picture. That face is just from one picture. Have you seen that one from the wrestler movie, Iron Claw? The ad that has all 3 of them and they're eating ribs?
No.
Oh my God. They're like eating ribs, and like the other 2, like whatever. But then like Jeremy Allen White. Yeah. Is like eating a rib, and then he finishes and he like throws the bone, and then he just like wipes his hand on his shirt. Like, and it's so fucking sexy. Like, because he's just like, no expression, just, oh man. I was like, you can wipe your barbecue sauce hand on me, buddy. Hey.
Well, those Von Erich boys were Denton legends, so.
I know. I went to high school with the daughter of one of them, so.
Oh, did you?
I think, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, who?
Yes.
I didn't care about wrestling. But.
Honestly, they were wrestling at the only time in my life where I watched wrestling.
You watched wrestling?
Yeah, when I was little, I really liked watching wrestling.
How come? Okay, what was I doing?
Well, if I was 5, you were 2, so you were probably drooling on something or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Not forming active memories. You'd be a lot cooler if you did. No. You okay?
I dated someone that liked wrestling, and so then I had to watch wrestling, and that was very short-lived.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd watch it now. I would watch that movie, but I also became very obsessed with the British actor that's in it, because he did The Murder at the End of the World, which was quite good, and he was lovely in it. I don't know his name.
I doubt that I'm going to see that movie.
That's okay.
I much prefer all of the advertisements.
Just watch the rib smear. Just the sauce.
And the underwear ad. Because all the stuff that he's in is like, oh my God, like,
Shameless.
Shameless is just like, I'm like, oh my God, stop making such terrible choices.
But you know why? You have a degree that tells you why they make these
I know, but that's not what I want to be entertained by. Like, that's also like what I live, like, I mean, I just want fluff.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, the other thing that's been making me happy lately and distracting me, I started acupuncture. It's wonderful. Highly recommend it for anyone for any reason. Just if you're bored right now, go get some acupuncture. It'll probably help. who knows what it'll help with? They'll just do an assessment, they'll poke you, they'll stim you underneath your skin so it actually gets down to the nerve level. Go to someone highly trained because evidently they can kill you if they don't know what they're doing. So don't go to some strip mall acupuncture, do your research, but highly recommend. And I've been listening to We're Here to Help, which has been making me laugh a whole lot. So thank you for introducing me to the podcast.
You're welcome. It's so good. They're so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'm disappointed every single time a guy calls in, because every woman is like, hey, ba ba ba, da 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 da. And then they call a guy and they're like, hello. Like, no energy, no charm, just like,
they don't get a lot of guys, so I think they may have to be like, taking what they can get. Yeah, mine for these, like, I feel like every guy one I've listened to, it's all sports, like it's sports related.
Yeah,
like my rec soccer rec league or something. It's like, oh, okay. I don't know that women are that much more interesting. I guess women's all relationship, whether it's work or
well, I will tell you the energy they bring to the podcast is a lot better energy.
Yes. Well, I think the energy
quality
women bring to the world is a lot better.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but hey, how about we talk about this shitty movie?
Is it shitty? That's one of the first questions I put was, is this shitty or is it just campy?
So 1988.
Camp or is it terrible?
Earth Girls Are Easy. Yes. I remember literally nothing about this movie.
I remembered nothing. I remembered who was in it, and I remember that they were colorful and hairy and they got shaved.
Okay.
And I remember seeing the case at Payless Video.
That's slightly more than what I remember, which is pretty much nothing. Okay, so we're going to start. I was very excited when I saw Julie Brown's name because I love Julie Brown.
Oh, you didn't even remember Julie Brown was in it?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
So I was excited, and then I saw she was a writer, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I saw there were 2 other writers, and I immediately knew 3 writers, 80s movie, it's going to be a hot mess. Like,
it was. You know what I didn't remember that was not a delight?
No, it was
but entertaining. I didn't remember that it was a musical.
Oh, yeah. Nor did I. It's kind of a musical.
I do not remember that at all.
Yeah. I wrote, oh, God, this is a musical.
I think I wrote, I did not remember this.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not remember musical scene.
My first comment was nice panties, Goldblum. That I was not unsurprised to see they were creating virtual porn on the spaceship.
Goldblum was asleep until they actually crashed the ship.
He was wearing that thong, all up in that thing.
Yeah, that's true. They all were.
They had underwear over their hair.
Yes.
The theme song is, I'm going to say it is the worst song we've ever heard on the podcast, like for the podcast. It was so bad.
Oh, the Earth Girls. Yeah, that was pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I was going to say that I really want you to buy me the soundtrack to this movie.
No, I could not handle that Gina Davis is so smart.
She was being so stupid.
So stupid. I do think we need to bring back sassy little old ladies because they showed up again in this one and I'm into it. Like, I'm a big fan. I couldn't handle when that dude tooted his bicep. He like blew into his finger or something and he was like the doctor and he was like looking at his bicep in the mirror when he tooted his finger whatever, his bicep
doctor, Dr. Ted, I was just like anytime he came on I was like, oh, I don't give a fuck about what you're doing.
Yeah, no
You've been 80s fuckboy. But I'm
And
a doctor.
I don't know how the 80s were so horny when everybody was freaking out about her not having had sex for 2 weeks. It was like,
I know. Yeah. How are you alive? Like, man,
podcast, here's a true confession. At this point in my life, I haven't had sex in over 10 years. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm fine. I don't need to get it on with some alien. I'm not chasing after some dumbass chauvinistic doctor. I'm not having nervous breakdowns and makeovers. Like, it's really not that big a deal.
yeah.
Dear the 80s.
I mean,
Get
it
over
hasn't
it.
been quite that long for me, but we definitely go more than a few weeks at a time, like since having a child.
Yeah.
And it's fine. And
Yeah.
sometimes when we don't, I'm like, this again?
That's a different podcast. I did like when she was getting together her items to seduce a man, and she was like, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, and sensual oil. And it was Wesson oil for the sensual oil. That made me laugh.
And the book on the man trap.
Yeah. Did you? So I just happened to freeze on this frame. I would have probably never noticed, but I was making angel food cake while this was happening. So I had to go check on my angel food cake. And, when Dr. Ted was throwing all of her shit into a drawer, I happened to freeze on this frame photo. It looked like it was Gina Davis, but it was Gina Davis looking like she was doing Freddie Mercury drag.
Like as a child?
No, like as an adult.
As an adult, oh.
It was very hot. Or it might have just been a picture of Freddie Mercury. I'm not sure why there would be a framed photo on the dresser of Freddie Mercury. It could be someone else entirely. I don't know, but there was somebody very hot on that. And then I got mad because he threw all her stuff in the toilet. And I'm like, how is he gonna clog the toilet and cheat on her? Like, this is not nice.
Well, but then how's she gonna destroy her own house?
No.
After he leaves.
I figured that one out. It's his house. No, it's his house. Because I was like, how's she going to poison his fish? And then I realized later, or her fish. I thought she was poisoning her own fish. And then I realized, like, that whole musical number where she's definitely not singing.
Oh my God.
She's destroying his stuff.
I think after that one, I wrote, my charade.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was so reminiscent.
It was bad. But I did like how creative she got with destroying his stuff.
Yes.
That was pretty funny. There was a News of the World that showed up, and I was really sad that we don't have News of the World anymore because of the internet.
The Weekly World News.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Fat Boy, and
I miss it.
Not as much as Mom does.
I'd so much rather see that when I'm standing in line than vegan recipes and celebrities.
And Martha Stewart.
Yeah, they forget it.
Perfect home.
There were way more computers and use of computers in this movie than I ever expected. I was like,
the computer makeover system was ridiculous.
It was great. I mean, that was proto Clueless, and there are people who still want that technology. So,
yeah, or Miss Congeniality. I don't know if you remember that.
I was upset when I realized the hot dog spaceship was going to crash.
I did want to know why that spaceship had a giant penis on the bottom of it. I mean, I know why that spaceship had a giant penis on it. I love how they're like, this spaceship has to crash into a pool, but it has to be big enough to hold 3 people, so they're going to be miniature inside of it, and then what the fuck was that all about?
Yeah, there was a whole lot of extra that didn't really need to be happening. There was a lot of screaming that didn't need to be happening.
Yeah.
That was probably about 20% of the whole movie was just people screaming. They could have cut that.
I feel like that's a little excessive in your estimation, but okay. Your math's a little off there, but maybe I should.
It was pretty accurate to me. Michael McKenna as the surfer dude was very funny. I like that a lot.
Yeah, he was great.
And then I had oh yeah, I forgot. Jeff Goldblum looks hot as fuck, like when they introduce him, you know?
He is so hot.
Except, let me ruin it for you. He also kind of looks like our friend Nathan.
Not enough to ruin it for me.
Okay.
It's really not.
Okay. I enjoyed when they got into the club and there was a Julie Brown song playing called I Like Him Big and Stupid.
By the way, I'm pretty sure that club is like 100% the vampire sex dungeon from Once Bitten.
I'm pretty sure all these movies should have just been filmed on the same lot with the same cast, just rotating in and out, because that's what it feels like the worst version of the Hollywood
100%
system.
what it feels like. When Jim Carrey showed back up again, I was like, "Oh, here we go again."
Yeah, and
We're
it's
gonna
hard
drive
to
down
do.
the boulevard and look at LA's lights and signs, and I was like, "Here we go again. Here we go."
Although this movie got shelved, so in fairness, I don't know which one got filmed first. You know.
Oh yeah, because this was released in '88.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was.
Apparently, the production company saw that this was going to be a box office smash.
Yeah, they really did think that.
And surprisingly, it was not. It
It's so bad.
that was terrible.
I mean,
Honestly, that scene at the beginning with the spaceship, I was like, is this supposed to be? Is this like one of those where it's supposed to be bad?
yes, so
Intentional.
evidently Julie Brown wrote it as like a send up of like 50s sci-fi movies. But the problem was then you put the 80s hornies thing onto it. And very clearly the three alien guys were just doing whatever to be funny the whole time. Like they were not integrated.
There was no direction.
Yeah, the only driving narrative was, idiot Gina Davis kind of being in love with this idiot doctor.
Yeah.
Which is not compelling. And then at the end, it didn't make any sense at all, where she's like, oh, love potion. No, it didn't work. I was like, well, then why did you kiss him? Like,
why were you why were you going to go to Vegas? Why
were you wearing those stupid stockings? Like, I can't handle every outfit she wore. I was like more and more angry at it for being terrible. Like,
I did not feel that way about some of the stuff she wore.
Of course. Yes.
The oversized button-down crop top, like, that was pretty cool. Like, in the...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shut up.
It's fine.
Everything else was pretty terrible. But...
Would you... Oh, hey, it had your favorite thing, a dance fight. That's your favorite.
The dance-off between David Wayne's and, like, little Richard Jeffrey Hines guy. Like...
Yep. Again. Why? I don't know.
Gregory Hines. God damn.
You're fine. Would you like to know the least believable thing about this very bad movie? When the cops arrived, they listened to the woman and believed her.
Yeah, but that's because they were secret. Remember, they were secretly gay.
Oh, is that how that alien magic works?
I guess. I don't know. It pulled out their inner feelings. It didn't give them feelings. It pulls out their inner feelings.
I enjoyed the little David Lynch, Tim Burton nightmare scene. That was super fun.
That was terrifying.
I know. It was great.
That was so terrifying. It's like, oh my God. Like, this movie was all over. There was like Pee-wee Hermione-esque-ness going on. Was like the retro it was all over the place. Like, honestly, if it weren't for Jeff Goldblum being hot as fuck, like, I don't know.
If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have made it through to the end. I probably wouldn't have made it past about 3 minutes. I was like, oh no, there's no way this is getting better. This is terrible. Nope. But in that scene, there was a pogo ball. Well, alien child jumping on a pogo ball, which I was like, oh, remember pogo ball?
Yeah.
And then we got a lips phone.
Oh my God, the lips
and
phone.
Dr. Ted was on a car phone. And then later he had a duck phone. That man had a lips phone and a duck phone in his house. Like,
he had all those things. They had a fucking side table that looks like a martini.
I didn't even
But the
notice that.
goddamn olive in it. The 80s were stupid. Like, people had way too much goddamn money and not nearly enough taste.
Oh,
I loved how
bad.
all his fish were all named after cars.
Yep. Yeah. What a douchebag. What a douchebag. Because I'm a Blonde reminded me of the band I was in high school, Japanese noise artists. When I would write songs about frat
That one was
boys.
actually taken out originally, and then they decided to put it back in.
I'm really sad that you and I both did the same amount of research for this because it really doesn't deserve it.
I did 2 minutes of research while I was waiting for my laptop to update.
There you go. I thought Elliot would love the pit stop with all those stuffed animals. He'd probably be really excited.
Oh, he loves any store ever.
Well, that's true.
There's potential for him to get candy and or a toy. Like he's here for it.
Pit stop. And I don't remember what happened. Oh, I think it was in the hospital. I wrote, Black women making fun of white men is always funny.
Oh my God, it's so funny. Yes. That was definitely a highlight. Dr. Love. Jim Carrey and Damon Wayans, when they're in that car on the highway, that is like one of my actual literal worst nightmares, like that I have at night sometimes.
Oh, that you drive in the wrong direction and stuff like that?
No, that I'm in a car that's like out of control and like driving, but there's no one. Like when Damon Wayans was like Damon Wayans was kind of driving, and then at one point he like climbs in the back seat and there's like nobody driving the car. Like that moment was like, oh no, too close to home. Like, no. And then I love how they end up stuck in a donut. Like,
It's a very famous donut, by the way.
oh, is it a very famous? Have you had those donuts?
I've been there, so I want to say I had them, but I don't remember them. I don't.
Knowing our family and you, I can't imagine you going to a donut place and not having a donut.
Yeah, I think I mean,
that's not shade on you. That's just reality.
No. I mean, the fact is,
you love donuts.
Donuts are tasty. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
And if they weren't, people wouldn't eat them. But I don't remember. I know I had one. I know it was with Christine. I know it was the last time I went to LA. I didn't have it when I was living there.
Okay.
Because she drove me to LAX, and it's by LAX. And I know we had them. I know there were like international guests there as well. So it was like, oh man, people are really going out of their way to eat these donuts.
International guests.
International guests. Foreigners just sound so rude. I don't want to do that. It's Frank's Donuts.
Okay, so we have Frank's Donuts. I thought it was Frank's. We have a Frank's Donuts here too. I don't think it's the same, but they're really good.
Yeah, I don't think they're the same, but yeah.
They're the kind you like, the yeasty, like what we have in Denton. That Lexington seems to not like, since all of the donuts in Lexington are not.
It's the water. You know that. It's full of limestone. It makes beautiful, beautiful bourbon. Terrible pastry.
Do you have a tomato in your hand? What is that? Why?
I'm just holding a tomato.
Why are you holding a tomato?
I cleaned out Dad's room finally. And I don't know if you've noticed, but my grip strength really isn't what it could be. Like I always have to get people.
I have not noticed that.
I always have to get help opening jars, and I happen to find.
You've always had to get help opening jars.
Yeah, but I can solve this right by strengthening my grip. And this is a little heart stress ball with a clock on it.
All the things in my life that caused me to ask other people for help and see how I can fix it to where I never have to ask another person for help ever again. A Heather Davis story.
Listen, when I'm in my 60s and 70s, and I'm not going beyond that, y'all, just so you understand, I'm going to need a robot to help take care of me. And I still don't know if I'm going to be able to afford a robot. So I'm going to have to be able to do some things on my own, like open jars.
Contingency plan. Do you think
unless I'm going to switch to like squeeze jelly, which no, thank you. All the best jelly comes in jars.
Like,
what are you doing?
Thinking about all the different devices.
Well, I can get a device if I have to, but why not increase my grip strength? Plus, it helps with my stress.
I think you should just squish tomatoes and then you can make tomato sauce too.
But then I'll get all sticky. I have a tactile thing. I don't like getting sticky. This movie was bad, and as of last year, there is talks of a big stage musical.
You get stage musicals out of everything. Like, even Broadway's run out of ideas. Everybody's out of ideas. There's no new ideas. Everything's garbage. Did you know that Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis were married during the production of this movie?
Yes, I did.
I didn't know that.
Did you know that they made out all the time? It drove everybody crazy. I find that hilarious.
I mean, would you not, if you were in a room with Jeff Goldblum, would you not make out with him all the time? Maybe not now, but like Jeff Goldblum from the...
If I were Gina Davis in the mid-'80s, I certainly would make out with him all the time. And now I might, just to make him stop talking. I find him entertaining, but he talks too much.
Others might say the same of you.
Some might say, yeah, we do have a podcast, so it's clear we talk too much. That's a fact.
We talk a lot.
A lot about nothing. That's the wrong thing.
There were so many times when they would like zoom in on Gina Davis's face, and I just would go, just Beetlejuice. When did they get divorced?
Wait, I don't know when they got divorced. I don't know. There's a whole whatever.
Okay.
Hey, great news, Rian Davis.
Yeah.
We're doing another podcast next week for your birthday. And we're going to watch another shitty movie. Did I pick something
better than this?
No, you did not. I don't think so. You picked Big Business.
Oh, that's better than this.
I hope so. This was hard. Coming off of Once Bitten. Oof.
Hey, that was your pick, by the way, not mine.
I know. I still think it was a better movie. Quite honestly, if you took the best parts of both of these movies and put them together, it would be a really good movie. I honestly believe that to be true. It would be campy gloriousness. Dear AI, make that happen for me. Thank you. That is it for this episode of I Love You But. Join us next week when we discuss Big Business. What made you laugh? What made you cringe? What did we forget? What would you like us to talk about in future episodes? We want to know your thoughts. Find us on Instagram and Threads at I Love You But Pod, or email us at iloveyoubutpod@gmail.com. Listener email and comments may turn up in future episodes. Be sure to rate, review, and follow I Love You But wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening. I'm Heather.
I'm Ryan, and we wish you lots and lots of conditional love.